Hello, good afternoon. My name is Sebastian, and I will be your examiner for today's test. This is an speaking test, and I would like to start off by asking you to please introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about yourselves, please.
Okay, I will start. My name is Karen Michelle Hernandez Robles. I'm from Cuautitlán Izcalli, state of Mexico. I was born and raised there with my parents and my brother. And I'm from the major in English teaching. And I like watching movies, watching TV shows, hanging out with my friends. And that's a little bit about me.
Okay. Maria,
Well,
please.
hello everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Maria Yolo Martinez Rodriguez. I was born and raised here in Mexico, and I am an English teacher. I am currently studying the major of English teaching, and I am teaching three groups on a secondary school. And it's a lot of work, but that's what we're doing. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Maria, can you please tell me when did you decide on the career that you have right now? Like, what is it that you decided to follow this?
Well, it wasn't my choice. It was more like a suggestion that I took too seriously. Like a teacher that I trust and like a lot approached me and told me, "Hey, what are you going to do with your life?" And I was like, "I don't know." So he's like, "Oh, you're really good at English, so you should major on that." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're onto something, so I'm gonna take it
Mhm.
seriously," and I did. So yeah, that's how I got here.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mitch, what about you?
Hey, well, it was more or less like Maria. I always wanted to study filmmaking, but it was a career with an indirect access. So I had to access another career first, and I decided to go here because everyone told me like you're very good at English. And well, I knew it. I knew that I was good at it. So it was like it won't be hard for me while I try to go to filmmaking. Unfortunately, the first time I tried, I didn't make it. And the second time I didn't try because I was too invested here. So I decided to stay here because I liked it.
Okay, thank you very much. So that was the first part of the test. Let's move on to part two. Now, I will show you some pictures of people traveling, and you will have to look at pictures D and E and talk together about the advantages and the disadvantages of traveling in these days. Is it clear what you have to do? Okay,
Yes.
so hold on. Can you see the pictures?
Yes.
Okay, please start. You have 1 minute.
Okay, so first we have to discuss the NE, right? For what I see, the is like a hitch ride and E is a plane, right? So I think D is very dangerous, obviously, because you never know who you're gonna get that is gonna give you a ride. But I don't know what you think, Mary.
Well, hitchhiking is indeed very dangerous. Like, I would never do that, not even if you pay me $1,000 to go hitchhiking. At least in Mexico, because I don't know if you heard, but recently there's been a lot of crime on the highways. So it's a bad idea, horrible idea. And
Yeah.
what about the first one? I think that's the subway, the Japanese subway.
Yeah, it looks like the subway, but that must be done for traveling just short distances, right? You cannot travel to another country by subway, right?
Yes,
Okay,
but I think
thank you very much. We finished this very first part of the second part. It's okay. But now I will please ask you to look again at the pictures and imagine that you're involved in producing a short film about travel experiences that young people today find appealing. These pictures show different travel experiences that the film might focus on. So please, what I want you to do is to talk together about what is appealing about the different ways of traveling shown in the pictures, in all of them, and then decide which of traveling the film should focus on as the most appealing to young people today. Okay? So for
Yes.
this, you have 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
Okay, so we didn't discuss E, but I think if you wanna travel long distances, like to another country or another state that is far away, this is the best way, right? I mean, it's expensive. That must be the disadvantage, but it is faster. What do you think?
I agree. It is expensive, it is faster, but it also has a lot of attractiveness. Like, for example, it's not the same that you go on a train ride that on a plane ride. Like, it has a whole lot of things that make it a lot more special. And I think that a film made in this setting not only is more cheap, it's cheaper than to get an entire set prepared, but I think it's very convenient and it has its own attractive. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. I hadn't thought about it. What do you think about sea? It is a cruise, right? I don't know if you like cruises. I've never really been into cruises that much. How about you?
Mm, I remember, but a little bit because I was really young back then. But my parents and my brother took me to a cruise ship, but it was more the like at the coast of Mexico, and it was really great. I really don't remember it because I was very young, but I am assuming that it was, aside from expensive, really amazing. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, that's nice. The thing with me about cruises is that I really prefer like traveling to one place and staying there instead of being the ride, like the attractive part. But I get it. I get the attractive. I get that a lot of people, there are many activities that you can do there and people love it because of that, right? So if you have the chance, well, I mean, if I had it, I would take it anyway. What about being is a road trip, right?
The road trip, that is very common, very familiar, like in a very closed space, but you can also find your own entertainment within your family or the ones that you're traveling in. Have
Yes.
you ever traveled this way?
Yeah, a lot of times. I think that when I was younger, I traveled to Acapulco uh, very often with my family. So we traveled by car, and I really didn't mind it. But I was young. When were young, you are young. I think you can get distracted very easily, and you don't get bored. But do you think that now that you're an adult, you would mind spending a lot of days maybe in the car? Because that is why people don't like it, right? Because it is cheaper, but it is, uh, yeah, you take more time to get to your destination.
Yes. Well, now that I'm an adult, I would hate it. When I was younger, like the ride wasn't that long because when you're a child, time flies. But now that you are a grown adult, now you have to provide for the gasoline, to provide for the food and many things. And that's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
No, I
Thank you
wouldn't
very
like.
much. Thank you. This is the end of part two. You did
Okay.
very well. Let's move on to part three, in which I will ask both of you a set of questions, and someone has to be candidate A and someone has to be candidate B. So who will be who?
Okay, I can be candidate A.
Okay. So
Candidate B.
then we'll start with Mitch. I will ask you a question, and then to that question, Maria has to give one idea to complement it, okay?
Yes.
So, Mitch, how important do you think that it is for people to do creative things?
Okay, well, I think it is very important, more for the emotional part of us humans, because we are creative beings by nature, right? Maybe some people are much more no, much less creative than others. But I think it is essential for us because you can be at a 9 to 5 normal office job, right? But I think even in that kind of jobs, you have to manage to stand out in what you do. And that is the way to be creative because many people think when they think creative, they think like art only, and creativity most of the times goes there, art like painting, writing. However, I think that it is important for us to be creative in any job, any hobby that we have, because that makes us happy. I think being creative and expressing yourself and going out of your comfort zone is what it's something that really makes you uh, happy and get out your emotions. So I really do think it is very important, but not all of us can be that creative.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Maria, is there something creative that you would like to be able to but you can't?
Something creative that I would like to do, but I'm unable to do so. I think it would be sculpting. Like, I'm good at drawing, I'm good at painting. I grew up doing all those things, but I see my dad, who also he's a very creative person, but I see him in other hobbies and sculpting, and I like that a lot, and I want to do that, but I am unable to do so. Like the first time I did, I got very frustrated because I didn't know how. Even if he explained me how to do so, I was unable to follow the instructions. Like, it was like, it's very complicated. How do you mold the clay to do that? Like, I want to do that and I can't. And I got very frustrated because I wanted to do it perfectly the first time. So that I'm very impatient. So that's why I got very frustrated. But once I took a step back and looked at what he was doing, I understood that I had a long way to go. Like, I couldn't make it perfectly the first time because it was my first time. So yeah, it would take a lot of time, and that's something I would like to do. Yeah.
Okay. Mitch, do you agree or what do you think?
I agree. I have always admired people who can sculpt, who make sculptures, because I think that is a very hard job. You must be very talented and have a lot of practice to do that. So I admire you, Mary, for trying it, because I think I would never. I think one thing that I've never wanted to do is paint, because my grandfather is a painter and he tried to teach me when I was younger, but I could do it. I mean, I was not bad. However, it was hard for me and I don't have the patience to do it. So, yeah, those kind of art uh ways of doing things are very hard.
Mm. Okay, thank you very much. Now, Maria, in what ways is it important to be practical in life? You have 2 minutes.
To be practical in life, I think first off, I need to define that, but I am uncertain about, like, well, the question on itself. I think that one way to be very practical at life is to take a look at things, but like in a cold perspective, like not with a lot of emotion. Like, for example, if you want to take a hard decision, you need to do it in the way that you know that it's going to benefit you and the other part, even if that is not what the other part wants. So I think that one way to be very practical in life is to look at things professionally, like not involve a lot of feelings on what you're doing. But that's what I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Mitch, how do you think, or well, how do you learn how do you learn the practical skills that you have?
Okay, I think that most of the sorry, practical skills that I have are because of my dad. He's always been a very practical person, so he has always taught me how to make things like, I don't know, things that have to do with electricity. I don't know. I know nothing about that, but he's an engineer, so he knows about that. And I think I've never been that much practical because I'm a perfectionist, so I care so much for every detail, and that is horrible because you get stressed, you take a long time in doing things. But but yeah, I think my father is the main reason why I know how to do some things a practical way. For example, also using things like ChatGPT or AI in general, he has taught me to do that in a simple way for making things faster.
Okay, Maria, what do you think?
I agree. Like, those practical skills are very essential, and that it's something that we can learn either the good way or the bad way. Like, luckily you had your father that could teach you, but how about people that don't have that guidance? Like, they have to learn that the hard way or on the long run. So I'm those kinds of person that had to learn like on the long way. Like, for example, I had a very bad situation with the connection in my house, and I had to learn how to fix it. And that was very hard. So yeah, you are very lucky, and that is amazing.
Great, thank you. We finished part 3. And now for part 4, you will have to talk to one another. and I will give you one of the questions, and you have 4 minutes to discuss it. You can also, if you finish like that idea, you can also look at the questions that are up here and ask them yourselves, okay? So I will start by asking you, no, wait. I was going to ask what practical skills should everyone have? You have 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. I would like to start saying that I think skills that have to do with household, I think are very useful because we all, again, as humans, need to be very practical at uh, being independent. We must know how to uh, finance ourselves, like how to manage money, but also how to make a living of yourself, learn how to cook, learn all of those things that you need to do as an adult are essential for everyone to know how to do. What do you think, Mary?
That is correct. I agree. Like, not only are they practical, but they are also things that make you function as an actual human being. I mean, if you do not possess those skills and expect somebody else to have them and take care of you, that is where you are terribly wrong. And that is something society needs to acknowledge, especially nowadays. But yeah, I agree. And I also have to mention that it's important to learn and have this practical skill of administrating one's money, because that is very difficult, at least in my situation and what I've seen with some friends of mine that cannot function normally. Like, they are now in debt, and that is terrible at our age. In debt. Oh my.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about doing things the fast way? Like, not specific things, but in general, being practical, like everything you do, making it in a fast and easy way. What do you think about that? Is it necessary?
Yes, but that depends. For example, if it's a task like in school, like you have this task and it's like complicated, overly complicated, and you have a lot of things piling up that you have to do, one thing that I would do personally is to make it the easy way. Okay, think fast, not hard. That's what I would think. But what about you?
I do think that it is always necessary to know how to do things the fast way, as I said. It is good to be creative and it is good to take your time in doing things and doing them well. But I think we all need to learn how to do things in order to not lose time, you know? But what do you think? How common is it for people to be able to make a living from creative activities? Do you think that is very factual?
To make a living out of creativeness, that is very complicated. I have friends that are studying in arts, are majoring in arts, and they plan on make a living of it. But that is not how the world works, unfortunately. No, even in the old times, like famous painters became famous once they died. Like, please understand that. And it's very hard to tell them that. Like, you should have a backup plan.
Yes.
Being and you don't want to discourage them, but you have to be honest. What do you think?
I do agree, unfortunately. Part of me wants to believe that anyone could do it, but the thing is that very few people succeed at doing art, right? But it is understandable that we want to do it because as humans, we all love art. And most of us think we can make a living out of that. But unfortunately, that's, as you said, not how the world works. I agree.
Okay, thank you very much. We finished our exam, our speaking exam, and yeah, that would be it. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you.